I can't believe that," he was 76. He said, "My daughter told me to do this. I can't believe that you're standing here at my door. My daughter's going to be thrilled." And I said, "Well, great, I'm thrilled." And "Oh, won't you come in?" "No, thank you. I won't come in." Don't go in their homes, of course. But not only that, security reason, I wasn't worried about a 76-year-old couple, but I would not hit 20 homes an hour if I don't just hit and move, okay? So you've got a very set little thing that you're doing here. You've got a target ripe environment. You have so much goodwill awaiting you. I went to another house where it was just the opposite spectrum. It was a girl that was probably 32, 33. She just got home with her kids. They were little kids about the size of my grandkids. And she said, "My dad watches Fox." And she said, "He's been on me," because she's an independent, right? And I said, "Well, how do you feel?" I said, "You know what?" I said, "I bet I know your dad." And we joked and stuff, and she said, "My dad is going to be so thrilled." She said, "With these kids, I'm so busy. Thanks so much for dropping this by." Okay, let me start by saying right now, do not pick up the sheet. Do not assist to fill out the sheet. Do not look at the sheet with them. Do not explain the sheet with them. We don't represent anybody. We are not with the Supervisor of Elections office. We are not an official of any kind. We are legal to drop off sheets. Anybody can give a sheet to anybody. So with that, I'll say that the first time, and I'm glad we're videotaping here, that none of us are to pick up the sheets, fill out the sheets, help with the sheets, advise on the sheets, or anything. You are dropping off the sheet as a favor to your neighbor. Do not leave the forms if they are not home, because you don't know that this would be somebody that you would like to have a form, right? We're looking for people who are like-minded. And do not help out the forms, just leave them. So back to the idea of sprints, registration sprint dates. We decided that we would have 2 registration sprint drives, okay? So that it's something, again, that we can feel like, okay, get ready, get set, go. And we will run for like 10 days. And then if you're interested, then we'll have a mutual appreciation dinner. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And we'll all get together, turn in our sheets and talk, and then we'll wait until after the holidays, until after Thanksgiving, and then we'll get to go on a second sprint. But I think that we can cover a lot of houses. So please mark these dates. The first date is November 5th through the 19th. And we're planning our dinner for November the 19th, which is a Saturday at 5 o'clock, an Italian night. And we have Tony Danza, who's going to be making meatballs. No, we'll come to that in a minute, but we're already having fun thinking about having the Italian night. We figured that with Thanksgiving, people will be really ready for Italian. So please mark these dates. The second one is November 28th through December the 11th. Okay, so we're squeezing in 2 really good sprints. And the forms that you have, the idea being that you try to cover between those 2 sprints your independent voter lists. And we're going to go through those in just a second. If you get yours done, because I noticed that some of them, you know, there's not a lot of independents in your area. Some of them, there's too many. And so you just do what you can. But if you finish your area, call me or call Pete. Probably better call Pete to be better. And get another precinct. Go to your next door precinct. I mean, let's get more people too. You know, you see what I'm saying? We want to get more people. We can really duplicate this. The script. Hi. You go up to the door, knock on the door. First of all, I'll come to this in a second. But we found out from walking last year that if you use a clipboard, they won't answer the door, especially in this environment. People are behind in their mortgage payments, right? You come up to the door looking official, what are they going to do? Hide. I'm from the government, I'm here to help. I'm from the government, I'm here to help, that's right. So we found that last year that it was best if sometimes it's best even if you just do this, because they're looking out the window to see who it is. So there's always going to be some of that. But I can tell you, if you're there with a pencil in your ear and a clipboard, that you're gonna heighten the resistance. Oh. So you go up to the door, say, "Hi, Mrs. Calvert." That's as in Sharon, for those who know. And we put that there because on your sheet it's going to be their name. And by saying, "Hi, Mrs. Calvert," and if they say, "What are you talking about?" then you can stop right there and say, "Oh, so you don't live, you're not Mrs. Calvert. I have down here on this page that the Calverts live here." "No, they moved last year. My name is Smith." "Oh, okay, well, thank you very much." There's nothing more to do with them except mark the page on the thing that they've moved and go on. We don't have time to go around and saying, "Who are you and what's your voter?" We don't want to get into that. We don't want to start saying, "Well, are you a Republican?" Just don't want to get into that. They are not the person that's on the list, so we're going to mark it, and that's good enough, and say, "Thank you very much, and I'm sorry to have disturbed you." And they say, "Yes, I am Mrs. Calvert." "Well, hi, my name is Barbara, and I'm a neighbor, and I'm a concerned citizen that lives in your neighborhood, and that I'm troubled by the politicians and both parties that are bankrupting our country and jeopardizing our children's and grandchildren's future. Are you concerned about what's going on in Washington?" You wouldn't believe the response you're going to get. And you'll know right then kind of where they're coming from. And of course, you've got the sheet. Be looking at your sheet for those of you that have the sheets. And I'm sorry that I have it up on the screen here in just a second. They say, "No, I'm pretty happy with what's going on in Washington." "Well, thank you very much and have a nice day," and you leave. Right? You've got a script, by the way. If they say, "Yes, I am very upset," well, great. That's exactly why I'm here, and it's nice to meet others who feel the same way. And that's why I'm out here this afternoon, is to try to identify people, such as yourself, that we can work together to elect candidates who believe in limited government, free markets, and individual freedoms. What would you say are the top 2 or 3 issues that you're worried about in the country today, Mrs. Calvert? Now, they may say, "Well, I can't think right off." Well, there's a list right on your little page, and you can say, "Well, here, you can look at this." But that didn't happen. People would say jobs, or the debt, the economy. And you have a place on your sheet that you can mark those things. And you don't want to be wasting time or wasting their time by standing there saying, "Wait a minute, let me see where I need to mark that." You can mark it after you leave if you want to. You with me? Keep this moving. But you want to find out, you do want to be able to mark down on the page after you left what it was that they didn't like. You can get in your car and you can just fill out the page, go to the next house. And so what would you say are the top 2 or 3 things that are bothering you? Well, I would say the fact that I don't have a job anymore in the economy. I'm pretty upset about that. And then I say there what I just said to you. The reason I'm on your doorstep today is because according to this list that I have, you are registered as an independent. Is that correct? Yes. Well, as such, and I know you're concerned about what is going on. You just told me that. You're not going to be eligible to vote in the primary unless you change your party affiliation. Do you know that? "No, I did not know that." Or, "Yes, but I forgot that." Or, "Yes, and I have to do something about that." Or, "Yes, my daughter told me to do something about that." Or, "Yes, my dad told me to do something about that." Or, "Yes, I'm so busy I keep meaning to do something about that." Those are the things you're going to hear. Great. I'm so glad I came by, because that is why I'm out this afternoon. I know there's a lot of concern, and registered independents that want to vote in the primary simply need to fill out a voter registration form and drop it in the mail to the Supervision of Election. I have one here for you. I don't want to pick it up, and I go like this. I don't want to pick it up in any way. I'm just dropping it off to you, and you can simply drop it in the mail as soon as you can. The address is on the form. There's also a website on the form for the Supervisor of Election Office, and you can call and ask them questions. But if you don't send this form in at least 29 days before the primary election on January 31st, I should have that on there, you will not be eligible to vote. And with the holidays coming fast, it's probably a good idea to get it done now and not forgotten if you're like me. Thank you, and I hope to come by and see you again. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Can I give you a cookie? I'm telling you, people are so happy, and you're leaving and you're gone. It's that simple. This is a sample walk sheet, and I don't know if you guys can really see it. Well, basically, I can walk you through it here a little bit. Okay, basically what we have here is that there's a barcode, and Pete has the scanner, so when you make the changes, he can actually scan your changes. So you don't have to worry about that, but this is pretty cool. The next thing here is their address, phone number, email, and their age. Okay, these right here, the first one is CB, which means call back. I'll go through these. This right here needs to be marked. And these are what's the most important, the 3 issues. Okay, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go through this in a second. So basically, you don't need to worry about this. This is what you read, which is their name and address. This just kind of tells you that it's a male, age 83. This right here, you have to fill out on each one with 1 check. This is what you found when you went to the door, and I'll go through that. And this is what are the top 2 or 3 issues to them. You just check that. It's very simple. Okay, so the codes, like CB is come back, DC is deceased, MV is moved, NA is non-address. Now that's important, guys, because non-address. Because if you go to a house and there isn't a house, it's a lot, that could be voter fraud. If you go to a house and it's a gas station, if you go to a house and it's a convenient food store, you need to be marking that down on this page so that we can turn it in to the Supervisor of Elections and find out what's going on. And you will run across that. So keep that in mind. Not home and refused. I didn't have 1 person refuse. Okay? Now that has to do with the little coding. And then the issues, you'll have that. It's all self-explanatory. So like I say, just to recap. So you get out you go up to their door, you go through the little talk, and then you go out in your car, you quickly fill out their responses and move on. Okay, here's some of the walking points. Some tips, walking tips. Do not use a clipboard, I talked about that. Keep your sheets to turn in to update the system. Try to use as much integrity with the sheets as you can. And what I mean by that is to be as concise as possible with the changes that need to be made. You should try to distinguish the supporters. What I mean by that is before you give out, again, if you're talking to them and they don't sound like they're a conservative, then you don't probably want to give them a form. Do not go into the homes. Move as quickly as you can from house to house. Do not try to educate, argue, or change minds. Now, anybody who knows me says you got to walk over the bodies, just like they did in the Revolution. We cannot change their minds. We don't have time to change their minds, and if they haven't changed their minds by now, you at their door isn't going to do it. So we might as well just say, you know what, there's nothing I can do for this person, and go on. You may want to partner with a friend. I didn't feel that was necessary, but I'll say it. If I don't know, I live in a nice area, and I'm sure you do too. Move to the 2nd precinct at any time that you can. And what I mean again is if you get yours done, then, we got a lot of work to do. I was reading in the Times today. Did anybody read the article in the Times today about what the Obama administration, how many people they already have in volunteers in Florida?